I'm Erin Lawler-Patterson, the Goodness Chick. I'm an addictions counselor, motivational speaker, author, and parent coach. Join me on the journey of navigating the joys and pitfalls of life, addressing parenting, giving back, mental health, addiction, and relationships. If it takes a village, then join me as one of those villagers. Villagers wanted.
I know I chat a whole bunch about mental health and addiction. Something I dig talking about. I think it's topics that pertain to really all of us, so why not talk about it? And I think we have a whole lot to learn. One of the things I have been really fascinated with in the past 3 months traveling has been the different paths that people I've encountered and crossed paths with who have worked in mental health and addiction to different capacities, learning what not only their background, their experiences, as well as the viewpoint and kind of perception of dealing with mental health and addiction within, on a government level, on a community level, within their community, the people. I think it's fascinating. And I was really excited to have today's guest, who's from Sweden, chatting about not only as an individual, her viewpoint of mental health and addiction, somebody who is knee deep in it, running a residential treatment center, but also the Swedish government's take, the people of Sweden's take. And I think it's so really, really fascinating when we kind of take a step back, we learn from other people, their viewpoints, and as somebody who's been working in the mental health and addiction field for a while in the States, one of the things that I've been frustrated with over the years, big time, is so many people who are affected by addiction, families affected by somebody's addiction, and the lack of resources we often have, the lack of funding behind it. And one of the things I was very much in awe of in Sweden, how treatment is paid for, fully paid for. You know, we have situations with people that even if they can get a bed to get help, to try to get help, it's so short-lived. It ends up doing more harm than good a lot of times. And it's frustrating on so many different ends, the family's end, the person struggling with addictions end. And so I think there's a lot of things we need to rethink on a community, state, and country level in the United States. But I do think we can all learn from one another, kind of, adjusting, growing, because that's what life is about. So I really hope that you dig today's episode. I also hope that if you haven't already, subscribe to Goodness Chicks podcast, write a review if you get a chance. And also, as always, so pumped and privileged and honored to be part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Hope you enjoy this one, my friends. All right, folks. Today, actually this evening, I'm sitting on a pool patio in, I don't even remember where I am.
Surrender.
Albania. Went blank, been in a lot of countries in the past week. Watching the sunset. I'm here with Kerstin Stockhem, who it's so funny how the world is such a small place and how paths cross when you don't even know they're crossing. Kerstin is also a therapist. She and her husband have a firm, a rehabilitation center called Vita in Sweden. And Kerstin, I want to welcome you today.
Thank you.
And when we were speaking, just the differences between drug trends, the differences in treatment centers from the United States and Sweden, I was very fascinated with. So if you could give our listeners just a little background about your program, how it's funded, and the vision.
Yeah, okay. Villa Vita, we have, I think it's four treatment centers all over around in the south part of Sweden, we can say. And people come to us are drug addicted in some way, and also they suffer from psychical illness also.
Okay, physical illness?
Yes, psychical.
Cyclical.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Psychic problems.
Okay, I'm sorry, psychological.
Yes. Yes. And they come because they want to change their life.
Okay.
They come because, so they come by their own will. And in Sweden, when you suffer from this problem, have this problem, you can go to the government, to the social office. I think the name is. So, and you can ask for help.
Okay.
As an individual, and we work with adult people.
Okay.
I need to say that from 18 years old and
18 and up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can say, I really need help.
Okay.
I want to change my life. I want to stop this destructive life
Right.
pattern, and I want to be free from my addicts and so on. And then you have to work a little bit with the social, the staff in the social office. But if you really want, then
motivated.
yes, in some way. Then you have the law on your side.
Right.
So we have in the law for social the social system. It says that if the client, the person need help, will have help. You have to help them.
Yes.
In some way.
Oh, I like that theory.
So
yes.
yeah.
And it's fully paid for.
Yeah, it's fully paid for.
So if you have somebody though that doesn't necessarily want help, this program wouldn't be appropriate for them.
I think
just if it's not mandated.
Yeah, but I think it's like this. Motivation is in the relationship.
Absolutely.
So motivation goes up and down all the time. So you have to help people and coach them and listen to them. So they see hope. They see that they can solve their problem with good help.
With good help,
yeah.
Right? With support.
Yeah.
So you work with the individual. Do you have a family component, and like, is the family involved?
Yes, they can be involved. But most of our clients have no family.
Have no family. Oh man. Okay.
Or very bad contact. Maybe they come from families where the mother, father use drugs by themselves and so on, or there are other things happened in the original family. So if there are a family, if the client have a family and the client wants us to involve the family, absolutely do that.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. It's very interesting. I know in the United States, one of the biggest challenges that is if somebody wants treatment, so often they can't afford it. Or they go on a state level and the services aren't what they necessarily need, where it might be someone goes in for heroin addiction and they're given 7 days.
Yeah.
Or 30 days, and so which is just unrealistic and unfair. So the length of your program, what is that?
The length is normally around 5 months.
5 months.
But the most common is that you have you got permission to stay in our places 3 months.
Okay.
And then if everything goes right and the result and outcome of the treatment is good, then you can stay longer.
Okay. So up to 5 months.
Yeah, 5, 6.
Okay.
Depends on.
So say they have treatment for 5 months. Do you have a transitional program where do they receive counseling after they finish? Yeah. Okay. So, and how long does that typically?
It used to be like this. When they have been in our program, primary program, you can say, then when they leave us, they go home to their city or community, and then the community takes over. Okay. And with someone to talk to support them in an
like a sponsor or
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a community-based thing, which is wonderful. I always ask people, because I'm fascinated with therapists and people in the helping field. I'll say, what motivated you to get into this field? Because I do feel like most of us have a story
Yeah.
What was your call, if you will? You don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. It's in my blood in some way. You know, when I was growing up, my parents went to a church called the Salvation Army.
Okay.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there
But
was
it's a
lot
church?
Like
the organization?
Yeah, organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And there, one of the main thing in that organization was to help other people who suffer from different things. So my father and mother was really working hard.
Okay.
And I remember Christmas when we went to different places, and my father and I was singing songs for people who didn't have any place to go to during Christmas and so on. So I'm born in this in some way to
so
help
your blood.
people.
When you say in your blood, it's in your blood.
Yeah, in some way. I think so.
Yeah,
and I always I'm always so I don't like when you put diagnosis on people and say that is who you are. It's not who you are.
Defines them.
Yeah, defines them.
Right.
And I want to give back the power, help people to find the power in themselves, to take responsible for their life, to be proud of their needs and what they are longing for in life, and to feel and to be alive.
To be alive.
Yeah.
And I think even though we're all breathing, not all of us are truly alive.
No.
Right.
That's
I mean,
true.
and I love that passion you have. And one of the things I talk about a lot is the substance and power in giving to others and caring and seeing other people, their needs and what they need. And I think there are so many people, that struggle with addiction, that feel defined by that label, that I'm an addict.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay, you struggle with addiction. Doesn't define who you are, and we all have our crap, and how do we work through that crap, if you will. And your program, I think, is an excellent definition of removing that crap, if you will. So I think, do you feel like within the Sweden, the community, and nationally, is there a stigma with people?
Yeah, it
is.
Yes,
okay.
It could be in some way. For example, I think if you have had addicts problem very, very long, maybe they have tried to send the person on treatment with no good result and so on. So maybe if you are a little bit older, have used drug for many, many years, it's much harder for you to come to those treatment centers.
Right.
And also there are, I think there are some program in Sweden, because there are different treatment centers with different programs. And I think that some of those have stigmas. And we don't have
You
that.
don't.
We think that every person is an individual with a unique history, and we have to find out how come that they started with drugs.
Right.
What's the reason? And
So it's
find
looking
new
at
ways.
find new ways. So it's not one set pattern
No.
or approach.
No.
So it's meeting the individual, which I think is so important because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And everybody started for whatever reason. I know we had spoken about an issue that it's epidemic that we're facing in the United States, and this is why I love speaking with other professionals around the world about prescription medication and how doctors work in your countries. So in your country, how easy is it to get something prescribed to you? How quickly do doctors prescribe medication? Like if I came in and I hurt my knee, or if I hurt my back, would it be, could you walk in and out and get a prescription?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could.
Okay.
It's a large industry behind that.
It is a large industry.
So it's they have so much power in some way. And I think Sweden, we are a pill addicted country.
pills are an issue. And you had said, what is one of the main pills that you see within your program?
Now, for depression, for example, those kind of
benzodiazepines,
and also opiates, and things like that.
So I to me, like, my mind's spinning right now because I think of there's a little follow-up where it's easy to, I'm feeling sad or I'm uncomfortable and here's a pill.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of times there's not follow-up by the doctor of, how are you feeling?
No.
Yeah, like the psychological connected with the physical, and how now that person in Sweden or America or Germany is addicted to the UK, like they're addicted, and this is where they end up on your doorstep. How do you think we could do a better job? That's a big one. Because I think part of it is the view that we take of pills. I heard I take a pill, I'm sad I take a pill, but also with the medical community kind of giving it too easily. So it's this.
I think, I don't know, but I think there are some researchers
yes.
now that also look at those pills for depression, and that they also can see that it doesn't help.
Okay.
As we thought it should be.
Right.
It should, and maybe, I don't know, but in Sweden now you can talk about psychic illness more open. People talk about it in media, and famous people talk about it in television and so on. So it's not, they're not so much ashamed of speaking about it. So I think that could be a way also to help people understand that you need to talk about what happens in you. Why are you depressed? Are you sad? or have you lost a lot of people around you? Or what is it? What is it?
And you're not strange for struggling with something, right? And I think most of us, we struggle with something.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, between, if you look at whether it's addiction or mental health, I'd say the most of us have either ourselves or someone we love affected. And so we need to talk. And I like and in the United States as well, there's more media, there's more people, celebrities, things on TV talking about mental health, talking about addiction. But I think it's a very long fight.
Yeah, it is. And also the fact that some of those pills create their own problem.
Oh my gosh.
So you can be more anxious because of the pill, and more panic attacking, and it depends on the medicine you use. So
and it's individualized. Where I know, I mean, yesterday my heart broke. I was on Facebook, a local page back in my hometown, and a young man lost his life to opiates. And it's like every week it's somebody else, every day, and it breaks my heart. And I feel like we need to be doing more, and I'm grateful for your treatment center. I'm grateful for the media talking more, but I feel like we're almost losing when it comes to addiction, and because it goes hand in hand with mental health. And I don't mean to sound negative, but it's breaking my heart, because I feel like too often, like on TV, it's you're sad, take a pill, or I'm upset, I take a pill, or I go to the doctor, and the doctor, because they're not a psychologist, they're not versed in, or, you hurt, take a pill, and then we go forward, and that person is a mom or a dad or a brother or a best friend, and they're shooting up, or they're snorting in the bathroom, or they're looking to find their next fix, and what? And it's the cycle that it's like I think part of it begins with talking more openly, but also that you didn't do anything wrong. You're here. Let's get you help. I know I'm coming at a lot of angles, but it's heartbreaking. And every day when we lose people, it's somebody's best friend, somebody's daughter, somebody, and it's like I want to scream. This is one of the reasons why I'm going around the world for a year, because I think we need to learn from each other. I want to learn from you. You know, and all these other people, like we're fighting a fight that I don't feel like we have enough resources.
No.
Does that make sense? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's tiring. It's tiring.
It is.
And it's just addiction and mental. It's a crisis, and mental health, and so many hurting people. It's just it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and I do believe there's solutions. But I think the more we come together, and the more we talk openly, I think it makes people more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
and see that it is not. There are a reason all the time. There are a reason, and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think when people think they can't talk about it, it's like it creates this wall.
Yeah, it's a lot of shame and things like that. But you have to see that it's not nothing to be ashamed of.
You're sick. You need help.
Yeah.
You know, I always feel like if I had a machete and I chopped your arm off, you'd go to the doctor, correct? Right? Well, it's the same thing with addiction. It's like you're hurting, mental health, you're hurting. Why would you not? You need help.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't put a Band-Aid on your gushing, right? That doesn't make sense. So the right support, the right treatment is just critical. And I think the more we talk, the better off we are.
Yeah.
You know, and I commend you for your fighting, for your heart, your passion that started back with the Salvation Army.
And your passion.
It's passion, but it needs to be, if we don't. And this is where, like, when we were talking, and I'm like, somebody else, like, we need to, I think, find energy and encouragement from others, because if we're negative, it just knocks the heck out of you.
And when you can follow a person who come to our treatment center, they have so many resources. You know, they are so fantastic people, and they are fighting a lot and a lot of feelings and a lot of, but they do it, and there are people you can count with in the society. Absolutely. They have the place.
It's coming together, and it's collaborating, and it's support, because with everything, it's not about going at it alone. I think when we do, whether it's out of fear or pride or whatever, we're setting ourselves up for disaster, really. So it's collaboration, it's support, whether that's, you know, within your family, friends, people you work with, feeling like you need help, knowing it's okay to seek treatment. And one of the things I'm going to throw out is, you know, I know you guys are based in Sweden. I'm going to put the link to your treatment center. If anybody's interested, just learning a little bit, reaching out to Kerstin. Fascinated by different programs, different views. I love your individualistic approach. I think is awesome, and what we need to be doing.
Thank you.
And need to be talking about. So I encourage you to check out our website. I thank you for listening. I thank you for joining me today, Kerstin. And check out the link, and let's keep on keeping on, my friends. Peace, love, and goodness.
If you enjoyed today's show, I encourage you to subscribe to Goodness Chicks podcast and pass it along to your friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and have a great day.